Thanks for joining me for another video. This is a comparison of the Axiom to the Wild Streak. Both balls are drilled 5x5 by 2.5, and we're taking a look on the house shot first, followed by the 2019 Nationals DNS pattern. So why compare these two? Despite both being solids, the cores are pretty wildly different from a numbers standpoint. Super low RG for the Axiom at 248 and super high for the Wild Streak at 260. This theoretically should create a huge on-lane difference in reaction before we go anywhere else. However, there's a few interesting facts here and some surprising similarities. We've discussed at length now that the Axiom has an above-average friction response for a nano-based solid cover. It's decisive and continuous from wherever I want to stand. It's too much ball for the house shot, but its ability to move in and not lose anything in terms of reaction or hit is impressive. It did the same thing from straighter as it did from deeper. Moving to the Wild Streak, the shapes are really similar right away. There's the not quite quick, but firm and decisive and somewhat directional move on the back end. After all the use I've put in on my righty Wild Streak, it's definitely not as forward rolling as I thought it was initially. It can be insanely continuous, but it does allow you more directional control off the end of the pattern than something like the Phase 2, which wants to climb and continue no matter what. This matches the Axiom, which as you've seen will pull up and won't quit if I dump it, but it also won't go driving or cutting through the pins if I don't want it to. This is the same story as the Wild Streak. It's just obviously quite a bit easier down the lane, but here's the interesting thing about the core and the numbers while we move to the 2019 Nationals DNS pattern. I got a chance to talk to Hank Boomershine a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about some of the science behind the Axiom, and when he was talking about the central ball in the new orbital core, that triggered a question I've been having about the Wild Streak. For having such a high RG core, it doesn't lope. It actually revs and rolls extremely well, so well that several staffers from other companies have remarked, wait, I thought that was a high RG ball. The answer is yes, it is technically, but the mutated rotary core is somewhat unique. Hank said that despite the core technically being higher RG, the central ball in the core combined with the overall smaller size of it contributes to the mass of the core still staying more central to the ball overall, which kind of splits the difference. It'll get much easier length than something like the Axiom, but it won't need so much help from friction to get the ball to start revving up and moving. This has made it one of my favorites since it came out because it's high rot up front and Axiom down lane. At some certain point though, it doesn't have enough guts for legitimately heavier and longer stuff. It doesn't start up early enough. I just have too much over-under on the fresh. On this side of the lane anyway, with my higher rev rate on the right side, it pretty well owns this pattern, but the trickier nature of the left side of the lane plus my lower rev rate from this side takes it out of play on the fresh. It'd probably be a game 3 or 4 ball once there's more friction to work with. The fresh condition is when I'd pull out the Axiom and have virtually the same look as I do with the Wild Streak for heavier conditions. Again, this is why you have so many different bowling balls. They're intended to be like golf clubs. People realistically don't need 11 or 12 clubs in a golf bag either, but it just depends on how much precision you want. I like what the Wild Streak and Axiom both do for me on the lane. It just depends on what I'm bowling on as to which one I'm going to pull out of the bag. These two end up being remarkably familiar to each other for what appears to be a stark difference on paper, so if you're a big fan of the Wild Streak like I am, but need more overall strength with a very similar look, take a hard look at the Axiom. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of our daily uploads. The Axiom releases on March 20th. Thanks for watching.